Hey, how's it going, my friends? So I'm back, and honestly, I'll just start making videos in English as well, cause I don't care if people want to cancel me. Alright, it's fine. Just don't get too confrontational. But yeah, like I know, like I have a big English speaking audience as well. Like I know a lot of you guys really want me to keep on doing English videos, and honestly, alright. I mean, I'll do it. You know what I mean? But I know like the fans are very passionate and anyway, guys, so The Dreamers is an Italian independent film by Italian director Bernardo Bertolucci and Scottish screenwriter Gilbert Adair. The Dreamers adaptation of Gilbert Adair's novel The Holy Innocents, itself based on the film and novel Les Enfants Terribles by Jean Coucou and by the film by Jean-Pierre Melville, Les Enfants Terribles. The main stars are Michael Peter as Matthew, Eva Green as Isabelle, and Louis Garrel as Theo. Isabelle and Theo are twins who live together and have a quasi-romantic relationship, so almost romantic. The twins befriend an American student called Matthew, and Matthew is an American who travels to France to learn French and becomes involved with the Cinématique Française. It's this place where they have a lot of films. And the Cinématique is where Matthew starts learning about French film. And the Cinématique is this place, it's an archive where they have a lot of films and they just show it to the public. And it has a relevancy with 1968, where the whole student riots happened, and a lot of you guys, if you're familiar with the Stone Roses, they sing about this when I think it's definitely on their self-titled album, The Stone Roses, in Bye Bye Batman, where they the music video is about this topic as well. But so Matthew, an American who visits Paris to learn French, decides to join the Cinématique. Therefore, he meets a brother and sister duo, Isabelle and Theo. And also, if it's Cinématique or Cinématique, I'm gonna improve it for next video. That second part, I'm gonna get the pronunciation 100% and just figuring it out right now. So both invite him over. The twins have a conversation with Matthew and their parents. The conversation starts with geometrical figures and ends with a discussion of the Vietnam War. And this is very interesting, and honestly, guys, this is the type of film that I'll have to review in the future again, but this time with more knowledge about the references, the films, the Vietnam War, the role that France had, the role the US had. It's a very jam-packed film, so this first review I'm doing with these 3 parts is just a setup, just an intro on the film. Like, it's not really my in-depth work, it's more just an intro for you guys to get an idea. Obviously, it's a highly recommended film, but it's just for you guys to have a feeling of it, and also because I know some Italian fans. I want to start reviewing more Italian content, maybe Italian American content as well, with like Mangies, Gas Nevada, and all these other great Italian bands. Some of them sing in English, some in Italian. I just wanted to start working on that material, so just to bring the Italian audience in, and yeah, because I like them, so I wanted to join as well. So so what sets the Dreamer apart from the film is a very bookish or connoisseur type of film. And this is what I've been saying, guys. It's just it's loaded with references, it's loaded with info. And I just want to say, apparently the Vietnam War, as far as I know, it started with French involvement. And I think this is what they call Indochine. And then it became more of an American deal later on. So it's a long history of that conflict and war. So I'm obviously not doing it justice right now in this review because it's just a preview, just an intro. But in the future, I'm definitely gonna get more into all these details. I didn't know the Vietnam War was playing a role in here because I thought it was just a student riot but I didn't know the Vietnam War also played a role. So that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that at first when I watched it. So I watched it a while back, just briefly. Like I wasn't taking notes or anything, but I didn't see that part. What's the during that part? Bertolucci makes reference to many classic films, the most important being Jean-Luc Godard's Vendée Apart. It's a complex film. However, there's a scene where the protagonist runs inside a museum, the main characters. So here, Matthew, Theo, and Isabelle try to beat the record. It's a very nice homage to the discussion. So this is the plus important part of the film where they just go to a museum, try to beat the record, they beat it. And I like that Matthew was afraid to do it because he says he could get in trouble as an American in Paris, and maybe that law will be harsher towards him. But like, it was just like really nice activity they do, and just being a bit of action because most of the film it's more thinking oriented. And they also brought up Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, and I think both of these reference at this point, like I can't say, oh, Charlie Chaplin is more funny or Buster Keaton because I haven't really seen their films. You know, I'm familiar with them. I know I studied World War II. I know Charlie Chaplin did some parodies of you know who, but it's just at this point I can't comment specifically on that because dialogue. So the dialogue in the film is handled by Gilbert Adair, and I like to know also the French-Scottish connection because I'm seeing a lot of this whole French-Scottish. Like I was listening to Orange Juice today, to Joseph K, and those guys were signed to the like, not necessarily, but they Crepusque. I think it's called this Belgian record label. I know Joseph K was definitely involved with them, and there's definitely a French aesthetic, a sensuality to those groups. So it'll be interesting to know more, like what's the influence of French culture on Scottish culture. Because this guy Gilbert Adair seems to be a big fan of French culture and is trying to incorporate some Scottish elements to it. And I like his dialogue. I think Eva Green Cesar as Isabelle, like she's very inviting. Like she plays this character which is very interesting, very compelling. When she says it was my idea as well, when she invites Matthew to hang out with them, to stay over, it's just very interesting. So then acting. In terms of acting, I feel Eva Green again steals the show, and even though this is her first acting role, I felt she was definitely doing great and really make things happen. So steals the show. For instance, one great quote is, "I'm not chained to the gates," where Matthew goes there and she's protesting and he thinks that, oh, she's chained to the gates, but then like she just takes off the chain. So I think it's Bertolucci, and director, he has won an Oscar for The Last Emperor of China and all this. He made this very, very successful film, so he's very accomplished. And when Matthew asks her why and he also has this Last Tango in Paris, which is a very controversial film, and I won't delve into that in this video. Maybe in the future I'll check it out. It's not my kind of film because it's just very controversial. You know, I'm trying to stay away from that, like strong controversy, guys. So I probably will skip that one. So, then we have Theo, who also seems comfortable in his role. And I read that interview where Theo and Isabelle, Eva and Louis, they knew each other, or at least they started preparing before, so they were comfortable with each other. And then Matthew, Michael Pitt came later, so their dynamic is very organic because they knew of each other much earlier. So it makes sense, it works, but still I felt Michael Pitt's acting is a little bit lacking, you know, that it works, it's just fine, but I feel like he's not a Philip Hoffman. I was seeing, for you guys who watch the Tom Ripley film, like like he just steals the show. You know, like when he's there, and his outfit is also very cool. The newsboy cap, and his acting is very touch note. I feel here with Michael Pitt, like he does well, but just fine. I wrote it. He's too shy at times. We mentioned his performance not as strong. He's sometimes hesitant. I know this is part of the character, but as I said, Phil Hoffman, like he went there and he was also in Europe with Italian actors, and even then he steals the show. So, but I liked Michael's interpretation. Honestly, it's inspirational. Like I he's inspired some of my writings, and this film has inspired my writing. So definitely, I think he does a good job. The setting is in Paris. The Paris is that we see is 1960s Paris, and we have these beautiful gardens. We will have towers and buildings. For a reason, they have this nice tarnished look to them. Like when we have that credit, the beginning credits, it seems that we see the, I think it might be the Eiffel Tower or a very similar tower, but I like the colors, the oranges, and it's very beautiful. Honestly, guys, it seems that my review has become a praising the film because I really like it, and I didn't expect it to turn out this way. But it's just a very beautiful film, and with every passing watch or every new watch that I see it, I kind of, it's like hearing a song which is very well played. You just want to like hear the chords, and I just really like it. And they're all portraits as well. Like the other is a twins apartment. The apartment is very nice and fully artistic. There's these posters of revolutionaries, and okay, I'll say it because I don't think it's offensive, but like it's like Chinese, and they talk about the Chinese Revolution, and they made a lot of allusions to China for some reason. Most of the time, unlike American films, which are more action oriented, with this Italian film, you feel that it's more thinking oriented. For instance, with that table scene, they talk about geometry and how the cigarette lighter can fit into the table. And I was reading an article from this British website, The Guardian, and they talk about a lot of French films. They're more bourgeois, and it's people who are not doing this. I don't want to say it's because it might sound offensive, you know, but it's more like well-off people, and it seems that this film does come across that way in a sense that Theo and Isabelle's father is a famous poet in France, so it seems there's when you have characters from more privileged backgrounds, there's more room for experimentation. That's what I'm seeing it. And for all you guys who are checking my material with Rebel and Rebel Away, it's also the same thing. They come from a privileged position, thereby this privilege allows them to have more exploration on clothes, for instance, on sensuality that maybe someone with lesser means would not have this sexual experimentation as well, what they're doing here. And here I'll just comment on the outfits. So I like Matthew's outfit, it's incredible. He's wearing at the beginning what looks like a beige blazer. It's definitely a sport coat or blazer. And he's wearing some khaki pants, which look like they're gray, as well as brown ones. And with Theo, he has this black turtleneck, and it's very European. It's more. It just stands out because I know Michel Foucault and a lot of French philosophers also wear this turtleneck. So when I saw it, it just gave me that vibe. And then with Isabelle as this floral shirt, it brings a sense of elegance and grace to the film. And there's also a simpler outfit, a white t-shirt, and but I've seen a lot of Italian models wearing this white t-shirt. So and even if we go back to Last Time in Paris, I know Marlon Brando also wears this very like simple white t-shirt, and then you can layer it up, as I've told you guys, with fashion, with other pieces which can help you make that look more sophisticated. So the main takeaway from the film is that Theo and Isabelle like Matthew because he's eccentric, and he keeps impressing them with eccentricity and with his knowledge. For instance, the observation of the lighter, it fits there, and it fits there too, he says. You can see in their faces that they're loving every moment. Likewise, when he talks about the Godard film, he also impresses them. So we see this evolution that the twins are really like Matthew because he's eccentric and intellectual. Anyway, my friends,